All right, excellent afternoon to our viewers. Today is an eventful Thursday, and you, our viewers, and how it will be eventful for all of us is something you have to catch up with. Anyway, by the way, for any event that cuts across Nigeria or Nigerians, or how will I put it, that affect the people of this country, be rest assured that Real Talk with Kike will give it real talk. Excellent afternoon again, viewers. Of course, I never do this alone because I'm with my wonderful, beautiful lady. How you doing? Lola, I'm enjoying this, your frame. I'm feeling vibe. Come on.
Hey. Yes, we're super excited to come to your TV screen every other day on Real Talk with Kike. And you know that we're your best lunch hour companion. So thank you for joining us again. Welcome, welcome.
All right, Efo, how you doing?
Kike, I'm great. And you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
I can't complain.
You can't.
Yeah, in her mild tones. Yeah, I'm doing it.
We had enough tete behind, you know.
Yeah, I just don't have, my only challenge in life is big money.
Yeah, no.
I want more money.
You can say that again. Hello, viewer. Good afternoon. It's good to have you again. It's a great day to be alive. You know, welcome to Real Talk with Kike. Enjoy this ride with us and let's have fun together.
You know, Auntie, every time you say that ride, I keep thinking of a horse. Is that appropriate on the afternoon?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes, you take
Come
a ride
with us.
Yes. You keep riding, you know. It's a ride, it goes on. You keep on the ride.
All right, guys, I can't hear what Nigeria has to say around the corner, but let's get to hear what the historical events in Nigeria history has got to tell us on this day in history segment. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
On this day in history, October 14, 2001, exactly 20 years ago, dozens of people were feared dead after 2 days of religious clashes in the northern city of Kano, triggered by protest against airstrikes in Afghanistan. Most of the killings happened as rival Muslim and Christian gangs rampaged in heavily populated districts on the outskirts of the town, despite a night curfew and police orders to shoot protesters. City authorities confirmed at least 13 deaths, but residents fleeing the fighting reported a greater toll. One of the worst districts was Zangung, outside the city center, a Muslim stronghold with a significant Christian minority. Ibrahim Gwawargwa, a spokesman for the Kano state government, blamed the rioting on hoodlums, who he said looted shops owned by Muslims and Christians alike.
All right, many thanks for staying with us. Azefo, on this day in history segment, what's your take on it? Because I know that exactly 20 years ago, this happened and about 13 people died. It's so unfortunate, and I don't know.
Are you sure it wasn't underreported? You know, if that happened 20 years ago in the city of Kano, you know, Kano used to be a very, very volatile state, you know, years back. But I want to believe that we have learned our lessons, because in the first place,
have we?
To an extent, I said Kano used to be volatile many years ago. You understand? If you're expecting any skirmishes from the north, it starts from Kano. You go to the market, you hear maybe somebody just said something wrong to somebody else because the person is not a Muslim, and the fight breaks out and they start killing people. So question is, I want to believe we have learned over time, because in the first place, bring it home. What happened in Afghanistan, airstrikes? What has it got to do with us in the first place? If you were to flip the script in the first place, would the Afghans have done the same thing for us? No. They don't even know we exist. So, and the worst part is the law enforcement agency, who are supposed to enforce the peace and the law. Sometimes, my opinion really, I think they're overwhelmed, you know, and sometimes they just don't live up to their billing. So these things just escalate more and more. I hope we have learned over the years.
I just want to dissuade people's minds.
I almost moved on from your submission coming to an analysis.
Okay, cover there.
No, I just want to say one thing very short.
Yes.
I don't want people to make Islam like a violent religion. I think those that are of that religion need to take it upon themselves to begin to image, rebrand,
and reorientate
their people.
I agree with you.
Yes, to make us feel that it's not about Islam. Bad people are bad people, not because of the religion they practice.
Very true. I agree with you.
I align with what you just said because I have a Muslim background.
Exactly.
And I still align with them every time we have anything to do, historical things to do like Ileya and the likes and all that. And it's really lovely to connect with
My late grandmother was
people.
a Muslim.
For staying with us, I did mention earlier that today's edition or episode was going to be eventful. Yes, today we are talking about the event industry in Nigeria, and I'm sure today as we speak about events right now in different parts of Nigeria, be it formal events, be it party, be it corporate function or traditional events, an event is certainly happening somewhere right now. And for an event to happen, we definitely know that planning must have come before, and some people would have definitely been incurring the cost of arranging the event for the event to be a successful outcome. I have an event that is upcoming, and I can tell you, Lola and I have been bantering about that. But the show today, our concern is about the business aspect of events, what the industry generates, the players in the industry, and the stakeholders who determine the policies in this industry. We have the stakeholders on the show today who will be discussing all of this aspect with us. So welcome to the show. We feel happy and excited to have you now, Miss Celia, on the lunch show. And I know that a lot of people are glad to have people from the industry right now, especially the event industry, who are so passionate. I'm so happy that I have ladies who are so passionate and ambitious. You know, it's not that words can fail you. Women who are, you know, they are the ones ruling the world. Let me use that word from Beyonce. Again, many thanks for creating time to be here. How are you doing, ladies?
Fine, thank you. Fine, thank you.
You're welcome to Real Talk.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. It feels good to be here.
That's good.
So let's just go straight to the point, because I know that the ladies on this platform have a lot. They will give you bars, you know. And I think the first question that I would like to ask you, being the president of the Appoem, what's it called, organization. Yes, I know there's an industry that contributes, I think, over 100 billion to the gross domestic product, that's the GDP of Nigeria annually. And I know potentially it has been about 1 trillion. I stand to be corrected when it comes to the turnover. Clearly, it's obvious that there are a lot of regulation that needs to go into that. But I must ask you, you both are stakeholders in the industry. How is it regulated? That's the first question. And the second question I would like to ask you as the president is that how do you contribute to the Nigerian economy? Do you have to pay tax with all the money that is being generated? Because when I was doing the research, I was like, what will I do by you? What do you have to say to that?
First of all, thank you, Kike. That's a very valid question you've asked us. Never mind that an events happening wherever, you can have an event. I'm just using an example, 100 million naira as the budget. There's just so much going to the event planner. Do you understand? I can have a budget. You might be my client and say, I want to have an X party.
Okay.
This is how much you want to spend. I want to spend 50 million. I'll charge you my fees. But mind you, the others are going to different sectors of the industry. Okay. I mean, we're all still the event industry. But at the end of the day, it's not money in the bank for anybody. You understand? So we do pay tax. It's part of the culture we are imbibing in our members. You need to do your taxes, because we will not bail you out if the government comes after you. We've had different trainings on this for people, because sometimes people get confused about who do I pay what to. For instance, like I said, people's money goes through our account. Do you understand? If you have an event, I'm going to pay the caterer, I'm going to pay the events people. It's not my money. Am I going to be taxed on that? So we've had tax consultants come to talk to us, and people take up their offers of services. You are the best person that can advise us, so that when the government comes calling, we'll have the right answers for them, and they won't think all the monies that have gone through our account belongs to us. You can't tax me on other people's money. So those, you know, that's part of the training we give our members, and that's part of the opportunities that abound as a member of the association.
Many thanks for that.
Very, very, very interested industry, which I'm very, I work closely with them a lot because you're emceeing events, so definitely you're going to be interacting with events planners. You know, lay people would think that you've come to upstage our old aunties and family members that would otherwise plan events.
Yes.
But in Nigeria, I would still say it's a novel industry because the regulation and putting it in, let's say, making it become like an industry, you would say it's still relatively new. Even though people might have been planning events for years, maybe not formally, informally. So how is it like now? Is it that an all-comers affair? Anybody, I can wake up and say, okay, I have a talent to plan events, and I can just go straight to it. Or now that there's an association, what is it like coming in?
Yes, you're right. It's an all-comers. Up till now, I can do my wedding today and tomorrow because I inputted in my wedding, decide that I'm a planner. It happens, but COVID it was a good thing for us. We've had to stop and look at ourselves, especially with the government. When government was talking last year, they did the entertainment industry. They didn't remember us, the hospitality industry. So we began to knock hard on doors. Lagos State now knows, I mean, they will deal with us because they came to us and said, you guys are all over the place. Who do we talk to? You know, so what happened was that there's still different associations. And really, we're not asking you to become a member of APOEM, although APOEM is the best association, but belong to an association. So you have caterers now, they have their own association, but they still come under us as well. We have some caterers under us who also belong to their own specified association. What that is beginning to do is to create standards within the industry. I cannot legislate for caterers. In as much as I might think this is the best way to do things, they are the ones inside. We must get their input on this. So what we did in August, you know, we called all associations together and decided that we are going to make the government listen to us, and we are going to start self-regulating ourselves. Now it's gotten to a stage that Lagos State, they know the associations to talk to. If somebody told me, for instance, last week, there was an event that they came down hard on, and they were going to shut it down while the event was going on. And the first question they asked them, what association do you belong to? The person who is not a member of association came running to a member and said, please help me. He said, help you to do what? I've been telling you to join this association, you know, because a lot of people feel that they can do it on their own. How, you know, the message I preach is that let us preach continuity. Let us preach,
consistency.
Yes, standards.
Yeah.
Let's all work with the standards so that what they'll find with A is what they'll find with B. Is what they. So that's the road we are.
There's uniformity.
Yes. So that's the road we are charting now. That's the road we are following.
Okay. Very, very nice to know all of this that you have said, and it's quite interesting knowing that you are all coming under one umbrella, you know, so to say. You talked about COVID.
Yes.
I have a question around that.
Yes.
How did COVID affect the industry?
Wow. Don't even talk about that.
I'd like to know. Let's talk about it. How did, knowing that we're an event-oriented people?
Yes. It was a tough year. It was a tough year. First of all, the lockdown. A lot of people ran their event ad hoc. They didn't have
Physical events.
No, they didn't have contracts. She's asking me how is it?
How
how
the
we
industry? Yeah.
They didn't have contracts, or they didn't have watertight contracts. They now have their events being cancelled. Which way out? The venue owners lost a lot of money because they had to start paying people back. But now, since then, they've revamped their contracts to say postponement, no cancellation. Because remember, they still have staff to pay, whether the event is going on or is not going on. So having to pay back money was not very easy for them. A lot of them had their venues on leases.
True.
They're paying back or bank loans.
Yeah.
Although they got some moratorium, but it still wasn't enough. Yes.
Many thanks for that. You know, Bossa, let me come to you. The president has been talking all the while. So I must ask you, I particularly see the aspect of culture, you know, in terms of exportation in our models when it comes to event planning, especially with wedding parties. I see the white people copying our culture, our music, our dishes, our clothing, and the event style for the wedding that we actually showcase in recent times. And I see the excitement in them, even when they are in our country wanting to be a part of an event, and they are quick to even showcase our culture as well. So I must ask you, how can event planning promote Nigeria in a higher level to the world, especially when it comes to our culture?
Thank you very much, Kike, for having us, and I'm delighted to be also here with everyone. I mean, that's amazing, because that's what is making the industry that vibrant, you know, part of us. And we're so blessed because we are, as vibrant as we are, we like to celebrate everything. Nigerians are the most appreciative on the face of the planet Earth. And so everything we want celebrated, I get a new phone, I call my parents.
That's why I said we are very event oriented.
Yes. So that's how our culture is being exported, and that's why people around the world are interested in these happy people. I mean, you look at that space, there's so many, you know, other stories that can tell you, no, this people shouldn't be happy. But you know, you find that they're able to do that, and then you want to come on to do that. And one of the things that we thrive on is because of the diversity of our culture. And then we have Nigerians, we have from different aspects of, you know, of the nation. We have the Fulanis, we have the Igbos. So we have all those tribes. And you can't even count all the tribes that we have in Nigeria. And so by that, those tribes are very important to us. And we don't joke with it. So you see someone raise their kids and then they tell them this is how we do it. And up until now, I still tell my daughter, you have to kneel down to greet an adult. And this is how we wear our gele, that's how we do it. They put it to schools. So that way, it's bringing about the details that we as an event industry also put forward in planning events. So you have an event, I'm going to theme your event based on what you want to celebrate. So for instance, you want to have a traditional wedding, or you want to host, you know, a corporate organization whose brand value or brand statement is this and this. Because of where they are situated, we begin to create a theme around where they are, and that is how we export, you know, our culture. So for instance, we're having Calabar is having a festival, and then we pick everything significant in Calabar and its environs to create an event that speaks to all those details about these peculiar people in that part of Nigeria. And people are excited.
I'm glad of what you touched on, but I must ask you, you know, let's go into the nitty-gritty of events planning. Okay. What goes into that work from day one to the day of the main event, and even beyond the work? Because afterward, that work speaks for you. That's where referrals comes in.
True.
So what do you have to say to that?
So one of the things that I've worked, you know, and I know that it still works for us, is our consistent in training.
Okay.
And getting yourself.
I like that.
And getting yourself abreast what is happening part-time in different spaces.
Okay.
So as event professionals, we get ourselves trained. I myself got certified at event school London.
Nice.
Why? Because I needed to understand the culture out there, how things can be done professionally first, how things can be done excellently, so that people will take us seriously and know that, you know, I have added value to what I'm offering you as a service. Therefore, you can, you know, sit back to say, you know, that I know this person is handling. A doctor, you know, is operating on someone. The person's not going to be asking, what type of doctor are you? This is a doctor, and believe that the professional person is going to be attending to me. And so the same thing has to happen as an event planner. So what we've put in place is the knowledge base has to consistently be improved upon. And that's why we're having TIC, which is a conference This is 4.0, and I mean everybody in the event industry need to attend TEIC. It's going to be happening in Lagos, and we also have different people from all over Nigeria who will be attending. What are you going to be learning? What is trending in the event space? How do you handle events? What is the new norm? What do you need to add to your contract, like President said? How do you need to speak to your clients? How do you need to project your brand? How do you need to make your staff, your team, understand what is now important to both us as an organization, as event planners, and even our clients, and even our government, because we are representing the government. So when you have anything to do with us as event planners, you need to be able to feel the pulse of every part of Nigeria, because we are representing a brand from here. And so the training base is one. The second thing is knowing what to do, the collaboration space, and that's the need, why we have a need for an association, and that's what our point is big on. That's ensuring that we are creating a standard, and that standard is what everybody can leverage on. So if I'm as good as you are, if I'm as good as Kike is, as all the clients and all Nigerians or all anybody has to do is just to make a pick of, okay, I'll go with Kike. Why? Because so it's not because Kike is good, it's better than I am. It's because that I just liked some details that she was able to bring to what I'm bringing, and so we can collaborate. So Kike can say to me, you know what, Bosse, I'm going to be doing something around this, and I know that you can do this, so you can do this around this event, and so we're still all working together.
You know, Bosse, many thanks for all you've shared thus far. Like I said, a new dawn. You know, events are one of the factors that doesn't make the government believe that the Nigerians are actually suffering. Because I'm telling you, because when you go to an event place, you'll be wondering, you know, the statistics, you know, for those who are not Yoruba people, that are you really sure people are suffering? You know, the statistics have shown that an average Nigerian company or middle class family expect at least over 15,000 per event, or let me tailor it down to Lagos State alone when it comes to hosting parties. At least I'm very sure with the little research that I made, I saw that over 20,000 events, 20,000 events parties do happen monthly. As 2015, let me put the record straight. You know, I want you to throw light on that. What's your take on it?
Because it's fantastic. Like I said, Nigerians are just people, happy people,
jolly people.
So we want to celebrate everything. I mean, can you want to celebrate a brand new phone? You know, so we celebrate everything. So for us, it is important that everybody sees what I'm made of, and the only way I can make that statement is through me hosting you.
Believe that we are suffering.
That's it, and that's the truth. Because if you come close to a Nigerian, you will understand by what we say that I'm not going to. You know the slang I say, I'm not going to come and kill myself.
I'm not come and kill myself.
I'm not come and kill myself. I'm not the cause of all this stress. So I'm not going to inherit them and then die over it. So people still want to have their peace, their joy, and celebrate what they want to celebrate. I mean, this morning coming here, I attended a registry wedding at the Koi registry down here, and I saw a lot of people, and people dressed up, made up, and all of that for that registry alone. So it's very important for everyone. So coming back to
my question,
your question, which is, how do we as Nigerians continue to celebrate and not show that we are suffering?
Yes.
Now, your
with a lot of events that occurs every month.
Now, every month, even with post-COVID, people still want to celebrate, because even during COVID, if Nigerians were allowed, they would still celebrate. True. Even with
we saw a lot of virtual parties.
Yeah, and that's what birthed so many new normal, and that's what the new dawn is about. We are restarting, we are reviving, and we are reviving everything that we have, and that is bringing us to a place where every event practitioner must understand that this is what is viable now. Virtual parties and safe parties, and smaller parties, Zoom parties, everything.
Pajamas parties,
absolutely, everything is.
I was invited to I was wondering, pajamas party?
Thank you so much. I want to ask the president, because I want to do a little bit of business and math. I know that a lot of you in events people, you use a lot of stuff. And I see you guys importing a lot of things.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, what can the government do? Because what makes your party is very, very expensive. are the things, a candelabra alone, not to talk of the showpiece, the centerpiece, the flower, the artificial flowers you're ordering. I don't even want to go to natural flowers because that's costing millions and millions.
Yes.
What can the industry do now that we have like an association like yours?
Yeah.
What can you do as a body to make this thing easier? Because you can't put every event planner at your level.
Apologies, I have to interrupt that we have Ukpoma from Benin City. I hope I pronounced that name, Ukpomosa or whatever. I apologize, I didn't get that straight. Ukpomosa, many thanks for calling. What's your contribution on the topic at hand? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies.
Yes, excellent afternoon.
The question I want to ask: if I contract an event planner for my event, and I did not get satisfaction for my money, whom do I report to? Is there a disciplinary body, or is it the association I will still report to for purpose of discipline?
Many thanks for that question.
I like that.
Yes,
That's a good
For members of our association,
Can you mention the name of the association?
Association of Professional Party Organizers and Event Managers of Nigeria. The acronym is APWEM. Should I mention that again?
Yes.
Proudly. Yes. Association of Professional Party Organizers and Event Managers of Nigeria.
APWEM.
Yes, APWEM. Our members, we continue, like I said, we continue to train and retrain ourselves. I don't have control of somebody that is outside my jurisdiction. But for my members, if an outsider comes and reports that a member of APWEM has done this and that, we'll call the person to book. We will listen to both sides of this thing, and whoever is erring, we will, sanction and things. For instance, in the cases of cancellations and all, event cancellations, even we were affected because sometimes the event planner, the owner of the venue, pre-COVID, didn't have a watertight contract. And then they are telling you, sorry, you can't cancel, or blah, 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 blah. What of force majeure? What happens? It's an act of God. COVID is an act of God. It's beyond anybody's control. So that was what it forced us to come together, marriage of convenience. No, you can't do this. You cannot say we can't get our money back. Yes, you can take some of the money, but you cannot hold on to all. So that has helped us do that. But if you come to me, and several people have come to me, the first thing I ask is, what's the person's name? Is the person, and then I look through my book. I have a good memory. I know practically 90% by name, if not by face, of our members. The ones I don't know are the ones that joined yesterday. So if you tell me so and so, I'll tell you that person is either a member or is not a member. Give us a few weeks, we will deal with it. But if he's not a member, I can only advise you that this is what we think you should do, but we don't have a hold on that person.
So my question about importation, about your equipment, things that you need, what can your association do, or what do you expect the government to do? Because when I look at it from the area of taxation and bringing things in, that is what makes the cost of events through the roof. Imagine if we have a balloon making company here in Nigeria, and you don't have to import metallic balloons, and all your beautiful showpieces and centerpieces are locally fabricated. Or how much local fabrication do you use?
No, people have started doing local fabrications now. All these steel things you use, majority of them are made locally. Going to China now, your feet must be on the ground. But even that, you can't even guarantee if your thing is going to come
before the event.
Because of all the importation problems that they have. So I went to a wedding about 3 weeks ago. They had these steel frames they use for the aisle. And I asked, who did this? They said, it's one welder down the road that did it. But if you look at it, you won't believe it. So we are getting to that stage. When you can't, that is part of, pivoting, diversifying, which we are talking about in our conference. People are, there are section of people complaining that COVID has hit them. There's some people smiling to the bank because they've learned to diversify. Some have learned to pivot within the same event industry. You know, so we have people now making flowers locally. They're not as many because then they haven't perfected their trade. But slowly as we go on, they will begin to perfect what they are doing. And if you know that you can reduce the cost of your decor by getting your things locally, you will definitely look in that direction. Talking about importation now is just, the dollar is not helping anybody. And if you are paying, you know, there was a time, I don't know whether it's my age or anything, I said, you want to use 20 million just on decor in a house?
Good question. Why you want natural flowers that will be imported from South Africa?
Yes. What would you do? So, but we have to give the clients what they want. So how do we do it so that the clients are happy to spend that money? That's where we're at now. That is part of what our conference is all about now. Let's look at it. When we started, for instance, just not even on importation, on doing virtual events, everybody was fighting MTN, all these network providers, because you'll be in the middle of your program, your network will just go and all that. We have somebody coming to talk us through on how to have a near perfect virtual events. So there are lots of things we're looking at, even how to reduce your stress level. We're looking at our health at our conference happening next week.
Because I've seen event planners practically running about.
I'm talking about the industry. I know you do have challenges. So what are the peculiar challenges, especially with regard to maintenance, security, those key areas? What are those challenges and what are you doing to work around those challenges?
Thank you very much for that. One very quick one I must say is that we have a lot of challenges because it's a huge industry. Yes. And another thing, as huge as it is an industry that trends. It evolves, and so it changes. The trend, it changes, and so that makes it that you have to be consistent with the things that you use. And so one of the key one there is staff. That's the team that we need to work with. And then when I want to mention government, but we have become our own government in our industry because of preservation. You have to get your own storage, and storage is now expensive. That means you need to buy a space or you rent a space, and that means you need a big space to be able to stock all of those things and to keep them in proper condition so that they don't wear out or get destroyed over time. And so you need a crop of people who are excellent minded as to know the cost or the investment that has been put on those things in order for us to leverage on having it long term. So if I have this furniture and I can maintain it and it can serve us for 15 years, over time we have made back the money and even more money to be able to get something better. If everybody in this organization understand that we all need to ensure that this lasts that way, then we are going to be able to break even at a good time. And that means that we also have people in our team who can ensure that the structure, the products and everything that we use stay. And then with that same mindset, we operate with each other. So I go rent from a rental company, and then I'm using their flowers, and they're saying, please don't staple my flowers, don't do this to my flowers. It is of I'm responsible to ensure that that flower is used in such a way that it will not be damaged.
Many thanks for that. I know that earlier you were talking about the events that you have coming up and how the conference have been ongoing in the last few days. But as representative of APOEM, you know, the Association of Professional Party Organizers and Event Managers of Nigeria, I want you to, you know, like I said earlier, that I know the association is having a conference themed around a new dawn, which is scheduled to hold in Lagos from October, I think 21st, 22nd, 24th, in coming days. So tell us more about this conference and the objective, because I feel that the objective needs to be passed across right now in terms of, when people need to achieve more in this event industry. I think that I would like you to channel energy into that conversation.
Thank you very much. So TIC is the Event Industry Conference. That's what we're having. We're having the 4.0. So the last one we had was 2019, and because of COVID, we couldn't hold it up until now. And so one of the things that we are looking at for TIC this year is the innovation that people need to begin to
Knowing
look
that
at.
digital
Knowing
has
that,
come
yes,
Yes.
innovation,
Yes.
the diversification, and all the, things that have come out of COVID. And then especially everyone now more than before need to be conscious of safety. And so these are many more what our speakers are going to be looking at.
So consciousness of safety now, will you advise people to learn via the social media platform without them being at the event place personally?
Absolutely,
Or
because
physically?
there's a virtual attendance, there's a virtual platform to TIC.
And do you think it's going to be as effective as them being in on the ground?
Absolutely will be, and that's one of the things we also we are going to be learning at the conference, which is how to put together a proper virtual event that would be seamless in all of its sections, and that's it's key to know, because it is a new normal. You're going to be hosting event for someone who is not in Nigeria, and you need to understand how it is done. We also put together when we have conferences outside of Nigeria, and then we get to go there to see how things can be done properly. So for TIC, everyone who in attendance will be able to take away this key knowledge base on how to handle events going forward.
All right, many thanks for that. I have to come to you. We have to wrap up on this segment, but I want you to give your last word on behalf of the organization. What do you have to say? This is an open mic.
Yes, on the second day is our Give Back Day.
Okay.
What we say Give Back is the CSR.
Okay.
We're teaching people emergency response, and event safety and first aid.
Okay.
During the lockdown, I don't know whether you saw the video of the woman that collapsed at a party and eventually died.
Wow.
So every event planner, every decorator must be conscious of safety, like she had said. And if an emergency does happen, they will be able to react quickly and help, so it doesn't become a mortal, fatal state. So we're looking forward to that as well. We have the experts coming to teach us on that second day. And the third day is our Let Her Hair Down dinner party.
It's not an Owambe. It's a futuristic. Someone asked me, a colleague asked me, so Bosse, what are you going to be coming in as? Because I'm sure I'm not going to recognize you. So I said, you know what? We have Ashoke, now done in glitters. Have you seen those glittering Ashoke done? So we can have that done in a new.
All right, many thanks for that, and of course, President, many thanks for being
Thank you
here.
so much.
And
Thank you.
It's been an interesting one having both of you on the platform today. But before we let you go, there's the last segment that we call Trending Stories. These are stories that affect us or that bind us as families, as Nigerians, so to speak. And I think we were able to just tailor it down to one. There are a lot of back and forth today. Because we have two guests on the show today, we said, okay, all right, no problem. And the first trending story that caught our attention, I feel that it has generated a lot of controversy, even among us as co-hosts, is the return of Jagaban. The return of Jagaban.
We did soundtrack on the show, and you said Return of Jagaban, which you hear.
He said it's like, and I think, before we ask our guests to give their own analysis on the show, I would like to ask you, Efo, what's your take? Imagine that Jagaban is listening to us right now. What's your take? Face the camera.
Okay. First things first, I want to say, Chief Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we thank God for your life. We thank God that you're back to your own country. And we wish you well. And we pray that your health continues to improve by the day. That said, the Jagaban is a political strategist, hate or like him. that's where we have, that's who he is. You can't take that away from him. All the intrigues that are going on and all the jumping from one boat to the other, going on. I want to believe to an extent you're probably not moved because he's a man who is focused and he knows what he wants.
All right. Lolo,
So,
what's your take?
Well, as a Nigerian, he has every right under the law to contest for an election. And as long as I don't know if he has made a formal declaration yet, because that was what confused everyone. I would just expect that if we're going to be seeing you as a presidential candidate, I want him to make a formal declaration so that everybody can know that these are not just speculations from people. He has said something.
All right, many thanks for that, Lolo. I think as per Tinubu's return to Nigeria, first thing first, I want to thank God for his return in good shape after the medical tour. I'm somewhat, tired of the speculation, just like my co-host Lolo just touched on it. I can't wait for him to come out and make declarations so that people can either align or oppose. Then we can now know where we are headed. Above all, I think that is a leader who has the capacity and the capability to work with the right people. He has the eye to, for the right people in his cabinet, because we've seen he has exhibited that in the past few years or few decades. And I pray for his longevity and soundness of health to enable him actualize his good vision in good time. But sometimes, while I was trying to struggle with all of this before the show, his case is like is that of a young lady, maybe a 20-year-old who wants to marry a man of 60 years old, and the family of the girl or the woman or the lady in question or the world will want to worry for the husband's longevity. We want to worry that, are you sure this young lady will enjoy the marriage? So if God wants good for Nigeria through the leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we just might have to pray for longevity for him so that he can deliver the goodness that he has in store. But I'm not saying that he is the Messiah before Nigerians, because I don't want anybody to come after me or start writing anything on my page. But at the same time, saying that he could be the one, but he has not come out publicly, to come and declare that I'm actually running for election. I'm going to be the next president of Nigeria, which I feel that at this stage and time, we should have people come out, and that is the reason why we are talking about transparency. That is the reason why we are talking about accountability. There are a lot of things happening right now. We've seen what has happened with the likes of the Pandora Papers that came out, and I felt that not during this period when we are asking or we are holding our leaders for accountability, for transparency. And I think that is where I don't want people to lose faith in him. I don't want people to keep speculating. So it's high time for the return of Jagaban to come out and come and tell us where he actually belongs, if he's ready to contest for the next president of Nigeria in 2023. Quickly, what's your take?
Thank you so much. I'm going to take your toll because, I believe strongly in God loving Nigeria.
Yeah.
I believe strongly because I know that on the face of the earth, there are no people that can go through what we're going through and still remain the way we are. And so one of the things I can say is that Nigeria is not beyond what God can still turn around. And I'm hopeful. I'm one of those Nigerians who have a lot of hope in what God is doing. And God can use anything and anyone.
Yes.
And so it's not about what it is. God is the perfect strategist. So he knows who's best for the job. And if he is, or whoever it is,
so it's not about people saying that, he's old, let him go and sit down, he's kinikoki. We don't.
They're entitled to their opinion.
It's not about that.
The beautiful thing about his own style,
yes,
the little I know about is that he can recognize good.
He's a kingmaker.
Yes, he's a kingmaker.
So,
good.
I don't know if our president. What
do I have to say?
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's watching, so I'm going to talk to him.
Yes.
Speak to him.
That's your
camera. For the
yes.
Absolutely. I want to say welcome back. I want to say welcome back to the country, really. And I want to say that God has preserved your life for such a time as this. make the best of it.
All right, I love that. Make the best of it. You've heard from the representative of Apple. Make the best of it. And with that, we've come to the end of another episode of Real Talk with Kike. Indeed, we had an awesome show on today's edition of Real Talk with Kike, and courtesy our resourceful guest. Many thanks to you both. That is Abosede and Adefunke. Pardon me to use the first day. I have respect for other people. So, many thanks for coming again on that note.
Thank you so
my
much.
name remains Kike Lomat on that one. We'll say bye now. Please keep
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.